Hello viewers. Today let's try to understand about Chauri Chaura incident and civil disobedience movement of your history chapter 3, Nationalism in India. First we have here Chauri Chaura incident. In 1922 on 5th February there was a peaceful demonstration going in the bazaar of Chauri Chaura. Chauri Chaura is a place in Gorakhpur district of UP. But afterwards this peaceful demonstration turned into a violent clash with the police. The police firing took place and 3 civilians died. That's why the crowd got angry and set the police station in fire. 22 policemen were killed. So Mahatma Gandhi, after hearing this news, since this movement had become violent, he called off non-cooperation movement. So Mahatma Gandhi called off non-cooperation movement mainly due to Chauri Chaura incident. Now next we have here towards civil disobedience. Mahatma Gandhi thought the Satyagrahis needed to be trained properly before any other mass agitations or movement begins in India, because he realized that while demonstrating this non-cooperation movement, many people in many areas turned into violence. The Congress were also tired of the mass movement, and some leader inside the Congress, they wanted to participate elections. They wanted the elections to the provincial councils to be held. Inside the Congress also there were many ideological differences between the older leaders and the younger ones. Older leaders such as C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru, they formed the Swaraj Party and they wanted to get elected in the elections. They wanted to participate in the elections because they believed that only after having some power inside the council, they would be able to face the British from inside the council, express their views or negotiate or express that the British rules were not truly democratic. But these younger leaders such as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru, they were also called radicals. They were against these ideas of moderates. They believed that only through this forceful radical mass agitation or movement, through that India would be able to achieve Purna Swaraj or complete independence. Under such a situation, 2 factors shaped our Indian politics at that time. The first factor was the effect of the worldwide Great Depressions that happened around the year 1929-1930. We know that the Great Economic Depression of the world happened about 10 years after the end of First World War, and the year of depression differs from country to country. In India also, around the year 1930, the effect of Great Economic Depression was felt by the Indians, mainly by the peasants. Because of overproduction of food grains, the prices of the food grains were reduced. This in turn affect the peasants. What they should be getting, they did not get, and they were not able to pay the revenue also. So on the countryside was a turmoil. The peasants were suffering. On the other hand, in Britain, the Tory party won the government, and the Tory government constituted a new commission called Simon Commission. It was called Simon Commission because Sir John Simon was the chairman of that commission. Why was Simon Commission formed? Simon Commission was formed in order to look into the constitutional matters of India and suggest necessary changes in the Indian constitution. But the commission did not have any Indian members. All the members of the commissions were British. So when Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan, "Go back, Simon." Indians were enraged with the Simon Commission because not even a single Indian members were in the commission. even the Muslim League and Congress were demonstrating against the Simon Commission. So the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, had to do something in order to appease the Indians. So he announced a vague offer, offer which was not clear, that a dominant status would be given to India, but the time was not specified. He also announced that a roundtable conference would be held in London for discussing about the Constitution of India. The Congress did not believe and they did not participate in the roundtable conference also. Inside the Congress, gradually these newer leaders headed by radicals headed by Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru became more forceful, more assertive. And moderates, their influence slowly lost inside the Congress. So in Lahore Congress session, December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru was the president of the Lahore Congress session, December 1929. In that session, Purna Swaraj or complete independence was made formalized. And the decision to celebrate India in the next year, that is 1930, 26 January was also taken. So on 26 January 1930, the Independence Day celebration was done and Independence Day pledge was also taken. But that attracted only few Indians. So Gandhiji had to find some other ways to make this idea of Swaraj more concrete. Now, next we have what? The Salt March and Civil Disobedience Movement. On 31st January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi sent a letter to the Viceroy, Lord Irwin. In his letter, he stated 11 demands. Some of the demands were of general mass, and some demands were of specific interests. Interests of different sections or different groups of Indian populations, ranging from industrialists to the peasants. Gandhiji included all the interests of all groups of people in his demand, so that he would be able to bring all the masses together into a united campaign when he started civil disobedience movement. Now, among those 11 demands, one of the most staring demand was abolition of salt tax. According to Gandhiji, the British control or monopoly over the production of salt in India and the British this taking tax on salt was one of the cruel phases of British rule in India, because salt was something consumed by all sections of people, both rich and the poor. It was an essential item of food. Now Gandhiji in his letter also wrote that by 11 March, if the demands of the Congress were not fulfilled, then he was going to launch the civil disobedience movement. But this Viceroy, Lord Irwin, he was not ready to negotiate. He denied. That's why Gandhiji launched civil disobedience movement. After 11 March, he started his famous Dandi March. So he started his Dandi March from his ashram in Sabarmati along with his 78 trusted volunteers to the coastal regions of Dandi. So the distance from Sabarmati ashram to Dandi was about 240 miles. So on the way, wherever he halted, wherever he stopped, many people came to hear from Gandhiji about the interpretation of Swaraj and how to defy British rule peacefully. On 6th April 1930, Gandhiji reached this coastal region of Dandi in Gujarat, and he violated the salt law by boiling seawater and making salt from the seawater. This begins the civil disobedience movement. Now, after hearing the news of breaking the salt law by Mahatma Gandhi and his volunteers, many parts of the India, many people started making salt. Some people even started manufacturing salt in front of government salt factories. And slowly, British laws were also broken. Forest laws were broken. Now forest people, they started going back to the reserve forest, collecting things, and also these grazing cattle. People started boycotting these foreign goods again, picketing liquor shops, peasants refused to pay chowkidari taxes, and so on. Seeing this civil disobedience movement in progress, the government started arresting Congress leaders one by one. So when leaders were arrested, people got angry and there were clashes in different places. When Ghaffar Khan, disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, was arrested in Peshawar. Peshawar is in Pakistan. Now many people came to the street of Peshawar showing demonstration, and they had to face armored cars and police firing, thereby killing many people in Peshawar. 1 month after Ghaffar Khan got arrested, Mahatma Gandhi was also arrested, and these industrial workers in Solapur district of Maharashtra, they got angry and they started attacking the government, the government institutions and symbols such as police posts, railway stations, etc. So the government resorted to repression. Many satyagrahis were taken prisoner, and many people, lakhs of people were imprisoned. Women and children were also beaten. Seeing all this again, turning civil disobedience, turning into violence, Mahatma Gandhi decided to call off civil disobedience movement again. So he entered into a pact with Lord Irwin, named as Gandhi-Irwin Pact. According to Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed, see here, on 5th March 1931. Okay, so on 5th March 1931, Gandhi entered into a pact with Lord Irwin, known as Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Now, Lord Irwin offered Gandhiji to participate in the Round Table Conference. Gandhiji also demanded from Lord Irwin to release all political prisoners. Both of them agreed. So, in December 1931, Gandhi went to London to participate in the Round Table Conference. There, the negotiation failed. So unhappily, Gandhi came back to India again. After coming to India, he found that the British started their repressive measures again. Ghaffar Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru are again in jail, and many repressive measures were also taken. People were prevented from doing meetings, demonstrations, processions, and so on. So Gandhiji again started this civil disobedience movement. After a year, civil disobedience movement also gradually lost its momentum. So this is the end of civil disobedience movement. In the next video, we will be discussing about how participants saw the civil disobedience movement.